This is the first slide. I start with the notion that 15 years ago, so in year 2010, the Finnish government launched a program about the housing of people with intellectual disabilities and the organization of related services, so-called KEHAS program. The aim of the program was to enable individual living in normal living environments for people with ID, moving both from institution and childhood homes. And the goal was that during the next 5 years, so from year 2011 to 2015, the number of people with ID living in institutions should be diminished from 2,000 people to 500 people. And during that time, the Finnish Housing Finance and Development Center, ARA, would give grants to investment grant for housing projects so that new residencies could be built.
Hannu, can you please share again? Can you share it again? Stop sharing and then share it again. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, now everything is fine. Yeah, you can continue. Yep.
Okay, yeah. It may be that it comes from a little time when I change the slides. Okay, in year 2012, the program was expanded and continued, and the goal was to close down the institutions so that in year 2020, no one would live in an institution anymore. So now we are living in a year 2025, so we can look what has happened. And now I change another slide. Here's a figure taken from the national statistics showing numbers of people in institutions and in housing services for people with intellectual disabilities from year 2010 to year 2023. The year 2023 is now at this point the latest point which the statistics have been published. And we see the red line is institution, people living in institution. And we see that the number of people living in institution has diminished from nearly 2,000 people to about a little under 500 people. And at the same time, the blue line is group homes with 24-hour assistance. We see there has been a growth in the number of people living there, so that nowadays there are more than 9,000 people with ID living in these group homes. Yellow line is communal housing, which means group homes where staff is present only during daytime. There's not so much changes. It's about 2,000 people with ID living in these. And green line is supported houses where people live in their own apartments and have their the support and help what they need. And it has grown from 1,000 people to more than 1,500. And let's take a little closer look. Now it's a new slide again with a table where it is compared year 2010 and year 2023. So in year 2010, there were 1,934 clients at the end of the year. And in year 2023, there were 451 persons. So the numbers of people with ID in institutional care have diminished, but the aim has not been totally realized. The aim that no one shall live in institutions in the year 2020 and after that. And also, it's noteworthy that the number of children under 18 years have not diminished so much. There are still quite a many children living in institutions. So we saw what has happened. The numbers of people living in institutions. Let's see what kind of new apartments and residencies have come instead of institutions. And I put there a question mark if there is going to be or going on a reinstitutionalization, because there are there we know that there has been built and made plans of building big service centers, some having places for 100 people or more. And also, as in previous presentation from Norway, some kind of mixed groups service centers. So let's move to the next slide. So here's a figure showing of the sizes of new housing units established in between years 2005 to 2019. And as you see, more than 50%, so more than half of these new housing units are big. They have more than 15 residencies or more than 15 apartments. And the biggest one has 103 residencies. I think this sounds like an institution more than a group home. Yeah, so move on to the next figure, please. Next slide, yes. And we can pose a question, does group size matter? And in fact, it seems to matter. James Conroy from US has made a lot of research. I think many of you know him and his works. And he says that evidence strongly favors the smaller settings. People who live in group homes tend to do better in the small ones, the ones that are designed at the scale of natural family. And I think this natural family means something about 1 to maybe 6 person. And studies also suggest that workers enjoy working in smaller homes more than in the larger as well. And there is evidence indicating that when the group size increases, individual self-determination decreases. And let's go to the next slide. This is from Jim Conroy's work. And here you see when the group size increases, individual self-determination decreases. And let's go to the next slide. And here is our research based on the data collected by Valvira. Valvira is the central agency operating in administrative sector of Ministry of Social Affairs and Health, and it monitors the social care units, organizations. And I don't know if this restriction measure is familiar to you, but it means when the person is not restriction means that you have to secure person's own or other person's health or safety. And then you have to restrict the person of doing that or doing something. And examples of restriction measures are, for example, holding on, takeover of substances and objects, use of restrictive tools and articles, limiting communication, and so on. So here it seems, looks quite clear that when the group size of the group home, these are group homes with 24-hour assistance, group homes for people with intellectual disabilities, and the data is from 2 years. And when the group size grows, the use of restriction measures increases clearly. So I don't have time for a more detailed discussion of the effect of group size here, but these are just examples showing that the big group size is, I think it is not a good thing. And let's go to the next slide. I think it is the last one, yes. So it seems clear that the process of deinstitutionalization in Finland has not yet reached its end and its goals. And therefore, there is a need for further research, for example, a closer examination of these new established housing units. And we are now planning a Nordic research project together with our colleagues from Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. But this project is just in the planning phase. So that's my presentation. I thank you for your attention. Thank you.